My parents didn't skip my graduation gift. They priced it. The card slid under my dorm door at 6:14 a.m. white envelope. Mom's looped handwriting. $25 for celebration lunch. We're so proud. $25 for 4 years at MIT. Behind that card sat $150,000, every cent they'd poured into my sister's wedding 6 months earlier. Her flower budget alone was $8,000. My entire degree got a pizza coupon. At 2 p.m., I walked across Killian Court holding that card. 487 graduates around me. Clutched keys, checks, car titles. I held wadded bills. Mom waved from the stands, filming my big moment on the phone she'd bought my sister. I didn't post the card. My roommate did, photographed against my diploma, the math impossible to ignore. 2.1 million views by midnight. Every person at my sister's wedding saw it. Dad's CEO saw it. Then Mom's book club started calling, asking if the numbers were real. The email arrived at 5:42 a.m. on a morning that should have changed everything. I was already awake. I'd been awake since 3 a.m., refreshing my inbox every 7 minutes like some kind of academic masochist. MIT decisions dropped at dawn. Everyone knew that. The acceptance rate was 3.2%. I knew that too. I'd memorized every statistic, every average GPA, every cautionary Reddit thread about hope being a dangerous thing. My laptop screen glowed blue in the darkness of my childhood bedroom. December cold leaked through the window frame. I had 3 blankets wrapped around my shoulders, and my hands were shaking from cold or nerves. I couldn't tell anymore. 5:42 a.m. The subject line appeared. Your MIT decision is ready. I stopped breathing. Clicked. Congratulations, Elena Martinez. On behalf of the admissions committee, I am delighted to offer you admission to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, class of 2025. NGRAS. I read it 4 times. Then I read it out loud. Then I screamed into my pillow so I wouldn't wake my parents or my sister Victoria. Then I cried. The kind of ugly, snotty crying that comes from 4 years of killing yourself for something you were terrified you'd never get. The scholarship notification came next. Full academic ride, $52,000 per year. Tuition, fees, housing, meal plan, everything. I'd done it. I'd actually done it. By 6 a.m., I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I threw on sweatpants and ran downstairs. Laptop clutched to my chest like a lifeline. The kitchen light was on. Mom was making coffee. Dad was reading something on his tablet at the table. I got in. I burst through the doorway, breathless. MIT, full scholarship. I got in. Mom looked up from the coffee maker. She blinked. That's wonderful, Elena. Wonderful. Not, I'm so proud. Not, we knew you could do it. Not even a hug. Just wonderful. Dad glanced up from his tablet. MIT. That's in Boston, right? Cambridge, technically. My smile was starting to hurt. But yeah, Boston area. Long way from home. He went back to his tablet. I stood there in the kitchen doorway, laptop still pressed to my ribs, waiting for something more, waiting for them to get up, to celebrate, to do something that matched the enormity of what I was telling them. Mom poured her coffee. Do you want breakfast? I can make eggs. Yeah, eggs would be great. She nodded and turned toward the stove. That was it. That was the moment I'd been building toward for 4 years, the moment I'd imagined 1,000 times. In my head, they'd screamed, they'd cried, they'd called the relatives. They'd told me they always knew I was special, that they never doubted me, that watching me succeed was the greatest gift I could give them. In reality, I got eggs. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Victoria. My older sister. 28 years old. Living in Manhattan, working some vague corporate job our parents always described as very important. The text read, "Guess what?" Then, David proposed. Then, I'm engaged, call me right now. I stared at my phone, then at my parents. Mom was cracking eggs into a pan. Dad was scrolling on his tablet. Victoria got engaged, I said. Mom dropped the spatula. What? Dad's head snapped up. David proposed? When? How? Just now, I think. She wants me to call. Mom was already grabbing her phone. Oh my God. Oh my God, Robert. Our baby's getting married. She was dialing before I could blink. Victoria? Sweetheart, tell me everything. The kitchen erupted. Mom pacing in circles, shrieking into the phone. Dad standing up, grinning, trying to lean into Mom's phone to hear. Both of them talking over each other. We're so happy for you. When's the date? Have you thought about venues? This is the best news. I stood there holding my laptop, MIT acceptance letter still glowing on the screen. Mom didn't notice when I left the kitchen. Dad didn't notice when I went back upstairs. Nobody noticed when I closed my bedroom door and sat on my bed and stared at the wall and tried to remember why getting into MIT had felt like the most important thing in the world 5 minutes ago. At 8 a.m., Mom knocked on my door. Elena? Honey, your eggs are cold. Do you want me to make more? No, thanks. Victoria wants to talk to you. She's so excited. Can you call her back? Yeah, I will. And Elena? Pause. Congratulations. On MIT. We're very proud. The words sounded like an afterthought. She left. I heard her on the phone again downstairs, calling Aunt Rosa, calling Grandma Carmen, calling everyone in the family to tell them about Victoria's engagement. I never heard her tell anyone about MIT. Not that morning. Not ever. I'd believed them once. That was the worst part. When I was 10, I'd won the regional science fair. First place. I'd built a model desalination system out of soda bottles and coffee filters and hope. The judges said it was exceptionally innovative for a 5th grader. My teacher had submitted it to the state competition. I'd run home with the trophy, this cheap gold-painted plastic thing that felt like solid gold in my hands. I'd burst through the front door screaming, I won! I won first place! Dad had picked me up and spun me around. That's our girl! I knew you were brilliant! Mom had put the trophy on the mantel, front and center. She'd taken a picture and posted it on Facebook with the caption, So proud of our little scientist. Victoria, 16 at the time, had rolled her eyes. It's just a science fair, Elena. Relax. But my parents had smiled at me like I hung the moon. For years I'd chased that feeling, that pride, that validation. I thought if I worked hard enough, achieved enough, proved myself enough, I'd get it back. I graduated high school as valedictorian. 4 gigapascals. Perfect attendance. Captain of the robotics team. Volunteer coordinator at the food bank. National Merit Scholar. 1,000. 540 SAT. Every extracurricular they told us colleges wanted. I did. Every AP class they offered I took. Every scholarship essay prompt I answered. I'd molded myself into the perfect student because I thought that's what they wanted. I thought that's what would make them see me. At my high school graduation, I'd given the valedictorian speech. I'd talked about resilience, about hard work, about becoming more than the sum of our circumstances. 200 people had clapped. My English teacher had cried. My parents had been there. Front row. They'd smiled. They'd taken pictures. But at the reception afterward, I'd overheard Mom on the phone with someone, Aunt Diane maybe, or one of her book club friends. Oh, Elena did great, Mom had said. Very poised, very articulate. We're proud. Then, well, you know Elena, she's always been so driven. Sometimes I worry she takes things too seriously. Victoria was always more balanced, more normal, you know? More normal. Like ambition was a character flaw. I'd pretended I hadn't heard it. I'd smiled through the reception, through the family dinner, through the photos in front of the high school banner. I'd told myself I'd misunderstood. That I was being sensitive. That of course they were proud. But when I'd asked them to help me move into my MIT dorm 4 months later, Dad had said he couldn't get time off work. When I'd mentioned I needed a winter coat because Boston winters were brutal and I only had a thin jacket from California, Mom had said, "Can't you just layer? Coats are expensive." When I'd asked if they could help with textbooks, just one semester, just $400 to get me started, Dad had sighed and said, "Elena, you got a full scholarship. You need to make that work. We can't fund every little expense." Every little expense. Like learning wasn't the whole point of college. I'd worked it out. I always worked it out. I'd gotten a job at the campus library, another job, tutoring underclassmen. I'd applied for every grant, every paid research position, every emergency fund the school offered. I'd survived. But I'd survived alone. And the whole time, I'd told myself it was temporary. That once I graduated, once I had my MIT degree in hand, once they saw me walk across that stage in front of thousands of people, then they'd understand. Then they'd realize what I'd done. Then they'd be proud the way they'd been proud when I was 10. Then they'd see me. The acceptance letter at 5:42 a.m. should have been proof. Victoria's engagement at 6:15 a.m. had erased it. Over the next week, the house became a wedding command center. Victoria came home for the weekend. She brought David. He was fine, polite, finance guy, made good money. Mom and Dad loved him. They spent 3 hours at dinner asking him about his portfolio and his promotion and his family's summer house in the Hamptons. Nobody asked me about MIT. Victoria and Mom spent Saturday on the couch looking at wedding Pinterest boards, venues, dresses, flowers. The words destination wedding and Plaza Hotel got thrown around. Dad scrolled through his phone, occasionally looking up to nod. I sat in the armchair, doing problem sets for my spring semester classes, trying to ignore the knot in my stomach. "Elena, what do you think?" Victoria turned her laptop toward me. "Peonies or garden roses?" I glanced up. "For what?" "The bouquet. Keep up." She laughed. Roses, I guess?" "See, I like peonies, but David's mom thinks roses are more classic." She turned the laptop back. "God, this is so stressful." Stressful. Picking flowers for a wedding that hadn't even been dated yet was stressful. I wanted to throw my textbook at the wall. Instead, I said, "I'm sure it'll be beautiful either way." Victoria beamed. "You're going to be my maid of honor, right?" I blinked. "Really?" "Duh. You're my sister." She leaned over and squeezed my hand. "I can't do this without you." For a second, the knot loosened. For a second, I felt like maybe I mattered after all. Then Mom said, "We'll need to budget carefully. Weddings are expensive. But you only get one daughter married once." "You have 2 daughters," I wanted to say. "One of them just got into MIT. I didn't say it. I went back to my problem sets. On Sunday night, before Victoria left, she cornered me in the kitchen. "Hey," she leaned against the counter. "You okay? You've been quiet all weekend." "I'm fine." "You sure? You seem, I don't know, off." I looked at her. My older sister. The golden child. The favorite. The one who'd never had to fight for a single scrap of attention because it had always been handed to her on a silver platter. And the worst part? She didn't even know. She genuinely thought we'd been treated the same. "I got into MIT, I said quietly. Her face lit up. "Oh my God, Elena, that's amazing. When did you find out?" "Last Tuesday." Wait, why didn't you tell me?" "I tried. You were busy getting engaged." She winced. "Shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." "It's fine." "No, it's not. That's huge. MIT is huge. I'm so proud of you." She pulled me into a hug. "Seriously, you're a fucking genius." I hugged her back. She meant it. I knew she meant it. But meaning it wasn't the same as showing up. "Thanks," I said. She pulled back, grinning. We should celebrate. Let's go out to dinner this week. My treat. Just us. I want to hear everything. You're in New York. So, I'll come back, or you come to the city. We'll make it happen. She didn't come back. We didn't make it happen. 2 weeks later, she sent me a text. Sorry, work is insane. Rain check? I never brought it up again. By the time spring semester started, the house had returned to normal. Victoria was back in Manhattan. Mom and Dad went back to work. The wedding was 18 months away. Plenty of time to plan. I packed my bags and flew back to Boston. Nobody drove me to the airport. I took an Uber. Nobody cried when I left. Mom had a dentist appointment. Dad was on a conference call. I texted them when I landed. Made it back safe. Mom replied 3 hours later. Good, stay warm. Dad didn't reply at all. I moved into my dorm. I unpacked. I started my classes. I buried myself in circuits and code and thermodynamics. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself I didn't need them. But late at night, when the library was empty and the equations blurred together, I'd think about that morning in the kitchen, the acceptance letter glowing on my laptop, the eggs going cold on the stove, and I'd wonder if there was anything I could ever do that would be enough, if there was any achievement big enough to make them see me the way they saw her. 4 years later, standing in my dorm room with a white envelope under my door and $25 in my hand, I finally had my answer. The favoritism didn't start with the $25 card. It didn't even start with the wedding. It started the day I was born. I don't remember it, obviously, but I've heard the story enough times to recite it in my sleep. Victoria was 6 years old when I came home from the hospital. She'd begged for a baby sister, prayed for one, drew pictures of what I'd look like. When Mom and Dad brought me through the door, Victoria had apparently screamed with joy and refused to let anyone else hold me. She loved you from day one, Mom always said, smiling. You were her baby. It sounded sweet. It sounded like a fairy tale about sisterly love. But what it really meant was, I was Victoria's, not theirs. I was the accessory to the golden child, the supporting character, the sidekick. And I spent 22 years trying to change the narrative. When I was 12, Victoria turned 18. It was a big deal. The official transition to adulthood. Mom and Dad had thrown her a massive party, rented out a banquet hall, hired a DJ, invited 100 people. The cake alone cost $180, 3 tiers, fondant flowers, edible gold leaf. I'd stood in the corner of that banquet hall in my too-tight dress from Target, watching Victoria blow out her candles while everyone cheered, watching Mom cry happy tears, watching Dad give a speech about how proud he was, how Victoria had grown into such a beautiful, intelligent, kind young woman. 2 months later, I turned 12. Mom made a boxed cake, Duncan Hines, chocolate, $2.99 at the grocery store. We ate it in the kitchen, just the four of us. No party, no guests, no DJ. I'd blown out my candles and made a wish. Please let them love me as much as they love her. Make a good wish? Dad had asked, smiling. Yeah, I'd lied. That same year, Victoria wanted a car. She'd just graduated high school. She was heading to college. She needed independence. Dad bought her a Honda Civic, used but reliable, $12,000. I'd been so jealous I could barely breathe. Not because I wanted a car, I was 12, but because I wanted them to care about something I wanted that much. When I turned 16, I asked if I could get a car too, even a beater, even something that barely ran. Dad had laughed. You think cars grow on trees? You'll take the bus like everyone else. Victoria got one. Victoria needed one for college. You're still in high school. I could get a job if I had a car. I could help pay for it. Elena. His tone had shifted, sharp. We're not having this conversation. The answer is no. I'd taken the bus for 2 years, an hour each way to school. I'd missed extracurriculars because the bus didn't run late enough. I'd missed study groups. I'd missed opportunities, but I'd never missed a day. Because I thought if I worked hard enough, if I proved I didn't need their help, maybe they'd offer it anyway. They never did. When I was 14, I'd made the regional mathlete team. It was a huge honor. Only 15 kids from the entire district. We were competing at nationals in Washington, D.C. The trip cost $600. Airfare, hotel, registration fees. I'd brought the permission slip home, buzzing with excitement. I'd practiced my pitch in my head. I'd highlighted the parts about academic excellence and representing our school on a national level. Mom had looked at the form, then at me, then back at the form. $600? It's nationals, Mom. This is a really big deal. Elena, that's a lot of money. I know, but we can't afford this right now. My stomach had dropped. What about a payment plan? Or I could fundraise? Honey, she'd handed the form back. I'm sorry. We just can't swing it. I'd gone to my room and cried into my pillow. I'd had to tell my math teacher I couldn't go. I'd had to watch my alternate take my spot. 3 months later, Victoria called. She wanted to study abroad in Italy for a semester. It cost $8,000. Mom and Dad paid for it without hesitation. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Mom had gushed to her book club friends. We couldn't let her miss out. When I'd asked why Victoria got $8,000 for pasta and wine tours, but I couldn't get $600 for an academic competition, Dad had said, "That's different. Victoria's in college. It's part of her education." Nationals was part of my education. Don't be dramatic, Elena. You're in high school. You'll have plenty of opportunities. I'd stopped arguing after that. I'd learned that we can't afford it meant we can't afford it for you. Prom was the same story. I was 16, junior prom. I'd been asked by a boy I actually liked. I'd been so excited I could barely function. But I didn't have a dress. I'd asked Mom if we could go shopping. Just once. Just this once. I wanted something new, something pretty, something that made me feel like I mattered. How much are we talking? Mom had asked. I don't know. Maybe $150? She'd winced. That's a lot for one night. Please, I never ask for anything. Elena, you ask for things all the time. That had stung. Because it was true. I asked for things all the time. I asked because I needed them. Because I didn't have them. Because nobody ever just gave them to me. What if I pay half? I'd offered. I've been babysitting. I have $80 saved. She'd sighed. Fine. But we're going to TJ Maxx, and you're paying me back the other half by the end of the summer. We'd gone to TJ Maxx. I'd found a dress. It was fine. It was $60, so technically under budget. It fit okay. It was dark blue. It had a weird scratchy lining. I'd worn it to prom. I'd smiled in the photos. I'd danced with the boy. But the whole night, I'd felt like I was wearing a costume from someone else's life. 2 years later, Victoria got engaged. The wedding dress shopping trip was an event. Mom, Victoria, Aunt Rosa, Aunt Diane, Grandma Carmen, 3 of Victoria's friends. They'd gone to a bridal boutique in Los Angeles. The fancy kind with champagne and private fitting rooms and consultants with fake British accents. I'd been invited. I'd gone. I'd sat on a white couch and sipped champagne I didn't want and watched Victoria try on 8 different dresses. She'd chosen the Vera Wang. $8,500. Mom had cried. You look like a princess. Dad had handed over his credit card without blinking. I'd sat there in my discount jeans and Old Navy clearance sweater, doing the math in my head. $8,500 for a dress she'd wear once. $60 for a dress I'd begged for. I'd excused myself to the bathroom and locked the stall door and breathed through the tightness in my chest until I could smile again. College was when it all came into focus. I'd gotten into MIT, full ride, merit-based. I'd earned it. Victoria had gone to UC Santa Barbara, good school, Not MIT. Not even close. Mom and Dad had paid her entire tuition. 4 years, room and board, spending money, sorority dues, spring break trips. When I'd asked how they'd afforded it, Dad had said, "We'd been saving for years. College fund." Is there one for me? Pause. We used it for Victoria. All of it? Elena, she's older. It made sense to prioritize her education first. But I'm going to college too. And you got a full scholarship. You're fine. Fine. I was fine. Except I wasn't, because scholarships didn't cover everything. They didn't cover textbooks, $400, first semester. They didn't cover winter clothes, $200 for a coat that wouldn't kill me in Boston. They didn't cover travel home for the holidays, $350 for a last-minute flight. They didn't cover the meal plan gaps when the dining halls closed during breaks, $100 plus in takeout. They didn't cover emergencies. I'd worked 3 jobs my freshman year: library circulation desk, tutoring calc for underclassmen, weekend shifts at a campus coffee shop. I'd studied between shifts. I'd written essays on my phone during bus rides. I'd lived on ramen and vending machine pretzels because I couldn't afford the meal plan upgrades. And I'd called home crying exactly once. It was winter break, sophomore year. I'd stayed on campus because I couldn't afford the flight home. The dorms were half closed. The heat was barely on. I was alone in my room on Christmas Eve, trying to finish a problem set, and I'd just broken. I'd called Mom. "I can't do this," I'd sobbed. "I'm so tired. I'm working all the time. I barely sleep. I feel like I'm drowning." "Oh, honey." Her voice had been soft, sympathetic. "I know it's hard, but you're so strong. You'll get through it. Can you help? Just a little? Just for textbooks next semester?" Silence. "Elena, we're stretched thin right now. Please, I'm not asking for much. Just $300. I'll pay you back. I'm sorry, we just can't." I'd hung up. I'd cried until I couldn't breathe. I'd stared at my bank account. $47. 2 weeks later, I'd seen the Facebook post. Mom had tagged Victoria in a photo. They were at some fancy restaurant in Manhattan. Caption: "Treating my girl to a post-holiday dinner. Love you, sweetie." The restaurant was Le Bernardin. I'd Googled it. Entrees started at $60. They couldn't spare $300 for my textbooks, but they could drop $200 on one dinner with Victoria. I'd stopped calling after that. I'd figured it out on my own. I always did. By senior year, I'd stopped expecting anything. I didn't tell them when I got research grants. I didn't tell them when I won departmental awards. I didn't tell them when I got accepted to PhD programs with full funding. I'd learned that sharing my achievements only led to polite nods and subject changes. But I'd still invited them to graduation. Because some stupid, naive part of me thought this would be different. Thought this would be the moment. MIT graduation. 4 years of hell. 4 years of proving I was worth something. I'd mailed the invitation in March. Thick cardstock. Embossed MIT logo. 2 guest tickets enclosed. Mom had called when she got it. Graduation's in May? Yeah, May 20th. That's so soon. It's 2 months away. Well, we'll try to make it. I'll have to check our schedule. Can you check now? Elena, I'm at work. I'll look at the calendar later. She'd never confirmed. I'd texted her a week before. Can you let me know if you're coming? I need to plan. She'd replied, we'll do our best. That should have been my first warning. But I'd held on to hope. Desperate, pathetic hope. I'd saved them seats. Row 7, seats 14 to 15. I'd gotten there early to make sure they were good seats, close to the stage. Good view. I'd checked my phone 40 times that morning. No texts. No calls. At 1:47 p.m., 13 minutes before the ceremony started, I'd texted, "Are you here?" No response. At 1:55 p.m., I'd called. Straight to voicemail. At 2 p.m., the ceremony began. Seats 14 and 15 stayed empty. The morning of May 20th started the way every important day in my life had started, alone. I woke up at 6 a.m. in my dorm room. My roommate Jasmine was already gone. Her family had taken her out for a big graduation breakfast at some hotel restaurant downtown. She'd invited me, but I'd said no. I didn't want to be the pitiful tag-along with no family. I sat on the edge of my bed in my pajamas and stared at my phone. No texts. No good morning. No, we're so proud. No, see you soon. Nothing. I told myself it was fine. They were probably on a plane, or stuck in traffic, or they'd texted and it just hadn't gone through yet. I told myself a lot of things that morning. At 6:14 a.m., I heard something slide under my door. A white envelope. I stared at it for a solid 10 seconds before I got up and picked it up. My name was written on the front in Mom's looped handwriting. Elena. My heart jumped. They were here. They'd come early. They'd left me a note. I tore it open. Inside was a generic graduation card, the kind you buy in a 10-pack at CVS. Front of the card, "Congratulations, graduate." I opened it. Mom's handwriting again. "We're so proud of you, Elena. Congratulations on all your hard work. Love, Mom and Dad." Folded inside the card, a 20 and a 5. $25. I stared at it. Read the card again. Turned it over. Nothing on the back. That was it. No explanation. No, sorry, we can't make it. No, we'll celebrate when you're home. Just $25 and a grocery store card. For 4 years at MIT. For a 4 gigapascals. For 60-hour weeks and 3 jobs and countless nights when I'd cried myself to sleep from exhaustion. For every time I'd chosen studying over eating because I couldn't afford both. For every textbook I'd pirated illegally because the legal version cost $300. For every winter break I'd spent alone in a freezing dorm because flights home were too expensive. For every single sacrifice I'd made to get here. $25. I sat back down on my bed. The card was still in my hand. The bills were wadded in my fist. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I was too shocked to cry. I just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to process what I was holding. My phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "Good luck today, little sis. Wish I could be there." She wasn't coming either. Of course she wasn't. Nobody was coming. Jasmine came back at 8 a.m. and found me still sitting on my bed, still holding the card. "Elena?" She dropped her purse. "What's wrong?" I held up the $25. She looked confused. "What's that?" "My graduation gift." Her face did something complicated. "From your parents." I nodded. "That's weight. Is that how much is that?" $25. Silence. She sat down next to me. "Are they coming?" "I don't think so." "Did they say they weren't coming?" "They didn't say anything. They just left this under my door." She took the card from my hand, read it, looked at the money, looked back at me. "Elena, this is fucked up." I laughed. It sounded hollow. "Yeah." "No, I mean really fucked up. You graduated from MIT. You had a 4. You're going to Harvard for your PhD with full funding. You're literally the smartest person I know. And they gave you $25? Yep. Didn't your sister's wedding cost $148,750? Her mouth fell open. "You're joking." I wish I was. She stood up. "Elena, you have to confront them. You have to call them right now and ask what the fuck is wrong with them. They won't answer. Then you show up at their house. Then you—" "Jasmine," I looked at her. "It's fine." "It's not fine." "It is. Because I don't need them. I never did." That was a lie. I'd needed them every single day for 4 years. I'd needed them when I'd nearly dropped out freshman year because I couldn't afford winter boots and I'd gotten frostbite walking to class. I'd needed them when I'd had a panic attack in the library sophomore year because I'd failed one exam and thought I'd lose my scholarship. I'd needed them when I'd worked a 30-hour week, on top of 18 credits junior year, and ended up in health services for exhaustion. I'd needed them when I'd spent last Christmas alone eating vending machine Pop-Tarts because the dining hall was closed. I'd needed them. And they'd given me $25. Jasmine sat back down. She put her arm around me. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's not. I know. We sat there for a while. Then she said, You're still going to the ceremony, right? I nodded. Then let's get you ready. And fuck them. Today is about you. The ceremony started at 2 p.m. Killian Court, outdoor venue, warm May sun, perfect weather, hundreds of red chairs arranged in rows, a stage at the front, MIT banners everywhere. Families filled the stands, parents, siblings, grandparents, cousins, everyone holding flowers and balloons and cameras, everyone buzzing with pride. I walked in alone. I was wearing my cap and gown. I'd rented them with money from my last paycheck. $120. I'd almost skipped it, almost walked in street clothes, but Jasmine had convinced me. You earned this. Wear the damn gown. I found my seat. Section C, row 11. Alphabetical by last name. Martinez. I sat down between two classmates I barely knew. Both of them had families waving at them from the stands. I pulled out my phone. Still no texts. I opened the family group chat. The last message was from 3 days ago. Victoria had sent a meme about wedding planning stress. Mom had replied with a laughing emoji. I typed, Ceremony starts in 10 minutes. Are you here? Sent. Watched the screen. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Delivered. Not read. They hadn't even opened it. I put my phone away. The ceremony began. The first hour was a blur. Speeches, awards, honorary degrees, some famous alum talking about innovation and resilience. I didn't hear any of it. I kept looking at the stands, kept scanning for faces I knew, kept hoping I'd see them rushing in late, apologetic, frantic. They never came. Row 7. Seats 14 to 15 stayed empty. Around me, other graduates were crying, happy tears, taking selfies with their families in the background, texting hearts and emojis and I love yous. I sat with my hands in my lap. The card was in my purse. The $25 was folded inside it. I'd brought it with me. I don't know why. Maybe because I needed proof. Maybe because some part of me thought this was a nightmare and I'd wake up and it would all be fake. But it wasn't fake. It was real. They really weren't coming. They really thought $25 was an appropriate gift for an MIT degree. They really valued me that little. When they called my name Elena Martinez, I walked across the stage. I shook hands with the dean. I accepted my diploma. I smiled for the photographer. Behind me, I heard families screaming, cheering, air horns. That's my baby. We love you. So proud. Behind me, row 7, seats 14 to 15 were still empty. I walked off the stage, sat back down, held my diploma in my lap. It was a leather portfolio, embossed with the MIT seal, heavy, official. 4 years of my life. 4 years of sacrifice. 4 years of choosing this over everything else. And I was holding it alone. After the ceremony, families flooded the courtyard. Hugs, photos, tears, flowers everywhere, balloons tied to strollers, little kids running around in MIT t-shirts. I stood on the edge of it all, watching. A girl next to me was sobbing in her mom's arms. I did it, Mama, I did it. Her mom was sobbing too. I'm so proud of you, baby. So proud. A guy near the fountain was taking photos with what looked like 15 relatives, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone wearing MIT gear, everyone grinning. I pulled out my phone, opened the camera, took a selfie, just me, cap and gown, diploma in hand, forced smile. Posted it to Instagram with the caption, MIT Class of 2025. We did it. Victoria liked it within 30 seconds. Mom liked it 2 minutes later. Neither of them commented. Jasmine found me 20 minutes later. Her family was with her parents, little brother, grandma. They were all talking over each other, hugging her, taking photos. When she saw me standing alone, her face fell. She excused herself and came over. They didn't come. It wasn't a question. No. Elena. It's fine. It's not. Jasmine, please. I just want to go home. She hugged me, tight. You're coming to dinner with us. I don't want to intrude. You're not. My mom already said you're coming. Non-negotiable. Her mom appeared behind her. A short woman with kind eyes. Elena, sweetheart. Congratulations. You're having dinner with us. I don't want to hear any arguments. I tried to smile. Thank you. Do you have family here? The question was innocent. She didn't mean anything by it. But it cracked something open in my chest. No, I said quietly. They couldn't make it. Her face softened. I'm so sorry, honey. I nodded. She pulled me into a hug. A mom hug. The kind I hadn't had in years. I didn't cry. But I wanted to. Dinner was at some nice Italian place in Cambridge. Jasmine's family ordered too much food, her little brother told jokes. Her grandma asked me about my PhD plans. Her dad gave a toast. To the graduates, he said, raising his glass. To all the hard work, all the late nights, all the sacrifices. We're so proud of both of you. The world is yours now. Go take it. Everyone clinked glasses. I smiled. I sipped my water. I felt like I was watching the scene from outside my body. When dinner ended, Jasmine's mom tried to pay for me. Please, she said, our treat. I insisted on splitting it. I had $25 after all. What else was I going to spend it on? I got back to my dorm at 10 p.m. The door was still open. I hadn't locked it, hadn't cleaned anything out yet. Graduation checkout wasn't until tomorrow. I sat on my bed, pulled the card out of my purse. Read it again. We're so proud of you, Elena. $25. I opened my laptop, typed Victoria Martinez wedding into Instagram search. Her profile came up. I scrolled, and I saw it all. The Plaza Hotel ballroom, gold chandeliers, 200 guests in formal wear, a 10-piece band, ice sculptures, a 4-tier cake, Victoria in her $8,500 Vera Wang dress, twirling under string lights. I clicked on a post from 6 months ago, Victoria and Mom at a dress fitting. Caption, best day ever with my beautiful mama. Can't believe this is happening. I clicked on another, Dad walking Victoria down the aisle. Caption, my hero, my rock. I love you, Dad. I clicked on another. The cake, the flowers, the favors, the open bar. Every single detail was documented. Every single dollar was visible. I closed the laptop, opened my phone, pulled up my banking app. I'd graduated with $32,000 in student loans. That was low compared to most people, but it was still $32,000 I'd have to pay back. $32,000 I'd taken on because my parents couldn't help. I pulled up my credit card statement. $1,200 balance. Textbooks, groceries, emergency vet bill when my classmate's cat got sick and she couldn't afford it. So I'd put it on my card. I pulled up my savings account. $340. That was it. 4 years at MIT. $340 in savings. $32,000 in debt. And a $25 graduation gift. I looked at the card again, and for the first time all day, I cried. Not quiet tears. Ugly, choking sobs, the kind that make your whole body shake. I cried for the little girl who'd won a science fair and thought her parents were proud. I cried for the teenager who'd worked 3 jobs and thought she'd be rewarded. I cried for the college student who'd called home on Christmas Eve, desperate and alone, and been told, "We're stretched thin." I cried for every single time I'd told myself it was fine, that I didn't need them, that I was strong enough on my own. I cried because I was strong enough, but I shouldn't have had to be. At 11:47 p.m., Jasmine came back. She found me on the floor, leaning against the bed, card still in my hand. She didn't say anything. She just sat down next to me. After a while, she said, "You know what's fucked up?" "What?" "Your sister's wedding cost $148,750, right?" "Right." "And they gave you $25. "Yep." "That means they valued her wedding one day at 5,950 times more than your entire college degree." I looked at her. She looked back. "I did the math," she said. I laughed. It was a broken sound. "Jasmine?" "Yeah?" "I think I need to do something about this." She nodded. "Yeah, I think you do." Jasmine didn't let me wallow. The morning after graduation, she showed up at my door at 8 a.m. with coffee and a determined look that made me nervous. "Get up," she said. I was still in bed, still in yesterday's clothes. The card was on my nightstand. The $25 was folded next to it. "I'm up," I lied. "No, you're not, but you're going to be." She set the coffee on my desk. "We need to talk." I sat up slowly. My head hurt. My eyes were swollen from crying. Everything felt heavy. "About what?" "About what you're going to do." "I'm not doing anything." "Yes, you are." She pulled out her phone. "I've been thinking about this all night. Your parents spent $150K on your sister's wedding, right?" "Roughly." "And they gave you $25 for graduating MIT." "Yes, Jasmine, I'm aware." "Do you know exactly how much the wedding cost?" I blinked. "No, I just know it was expensive." "Then we need to find out." "Why?" She looked at me like I was being deliberately dense. "Because you can't confront them with guesses, Elena. You need facts. Numbers. Proof." "I'm not confronting them." "Yes, you are. Eventually. And when you do, you're going to have ammunition." I rubbed my face. "This is insane." "What's insane is them giving you $25. What's insane is them spending 6 figures on a party while you ate ramen for 4 years. What's insane is you sitting here acting like this is normal." She was right. I hated that she was right. "Okay," I said quietly. "Okay. What do I do?" She sat down next to me, pulled up Instagram on her phone. "Your sister's profile is public. She documented everything. We start there." For the next 2 hours, we went through Victoria's entire wedding Instagram. Every post, every story highlight, every tagged photo from guests. Jasmine had a notebook. She was writing everything down. "Plaza Hotel," she said. "That's the venue." I nodded. "Manhattan location, prime real estate. I'm guessing $30K minimum just for the space." "How do you know that?" "My cousin got married there. It was $40K for 150 guests. Your sister had 200. I felt sick. She kept scrolling. "Vera Wang dress, that's easily $8K. She told me it was $8,500. Jasmine wrote it down. $8,500. Okay. There was a photo of the ceremony set up, white roses everywhere, cascading arrangements on every table, an entire wall of peonies behind the head table. "I don't know," I said. "Premium flowers in Manhattan, $10K easy. Probably more." She kept going. Photographer, videographer, band, cake, catering, open bar, party favors, hotel blocks for out-of-town guests, invitations, hair and makeup, transportation. Every single detail had a price tag. Every single detail added up. By 10 a.m., Jasmine had filled 3 pages. Okay, she said. This is rough, but based on standard Manhattan wedding pricing. She did the math. I'm estimating between $140K and $160K. I stared at the number. That's that's insane. And that's your parents' priorities, Jasmine said flatly. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at campus. Students were still moving out, families loading cars, everyone happy, everyone normal. I need to know the exact number, I said. Jasmine looked up. What? I need to know exactly how much they spent. Not an estimate. The real number. How are you going to get that? I turned around. They kept everything. All the wedding planning stuff. It's at the house. In Dad's office. Are you going to ask them for it? No. Then, I'm going to go get it. Jasmine's eyes widened. You're going to break into your parents' house? It's not breaking in if I have a key. Elena, they're not home during the day. Dad works until 6. Mom has her book club on Wednesdays. I'll be in and out in 20 minutes. This is a bad idea. Probably. You could just ask Victoria. She might tell you. I shook my head. She doesn't know how much I struggled. She doesn't know they said no to me over and over. She'd feel guilty. I don't want to do that to her. So instead you're going to commit a felony? It's not a felony. It's my childhood home. I'm allowed to be there. Jasmine sighed. When are we doing this? We? You think I'm letting you do this alone? Absolutely not. I'm driving. We left at noon. The drive to my parents' house took 40 minutes. Jasmine drove. I sat in the passenger seat with my heart trying to break through my ribs. You okay? She asked. No. Do you want to turn around? No. She nodded, kept driving. We got to the house at 12:47 p.m., a beige 2-story in a suburban neighborhood. Neat lawn, 2-car garage, American flag on the porch. It looked normal. It looked like a place where normal families lived normal lives. It looked like a lie. Both cars are gone, Jasmine said. Good sign. I pulled out my key. My hand was shaking. If anyone asks, Jasmine said, we're here to pick up some of your stuff. You forgot a box. Right. And if your parents come home? They won't. But if they do, we run. She laughed nervously. Great plan. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I hadn't been here since Christmas, 4 months ago. It felt longer. Everything looked the same. Same furniture, same family photos on the wall, same fake flowers in the vase on the entry table. There was a new photo on the mantel. Victoria and David, wedding photo, professional, framed in silver. I looked at it for too long. Then, I went upstairs. Dad's office was at the end of the hall. The door was closed but unlocked. I pushed it open. Desk, filing cabinet, bookshelves, computer. Where would he keep it? Jasmine whispered behind me. Filing cabinet, probably. I opened the top drawer. Bills, tax returns, insurance documents. Second drawer. Medical records, car titles. Third drawer. Bingo. A 3-ring binder. White. Label on the spine in Mom's handwriting. Victoria's wedding. I pulled it out. It was heavy. I set it on the desk, opened it. The first page was a budget spreadsheet. Printed, color-coded, every line item listed. Venue. Plaza Hotel. $42,000. Catering. $18,500. Bar. $9,200. Flowers. $12,000. Photography. $6,000. Videography. $7,500. Band. $9,000. Cake. $2,400. Dress bride. $8,500. Dress alterations. $800. Hair and makeup. Bridal party. $2,100. Invitations and paper goods. $1,950. Party favors. $1,200. Transportation, $3,400. Hotel block subsidy, $8,200. Rehearsal dinner, $5,800. Miscellaneous, $10,200. Total, $148,750. I stopped breathing. Jasmine leaned over my shoulder. Holy shit, $148,750. For one day, for one party, while I'd been working 3 jobs, while I'd been crying on the phone begging for $300 for textbooks, while I'd been eating vending machine food because I couldn't afford the meal plan, while I'd spent Christmas alone in a freezing dorm room, they'd had $148,750 for Victoria's wedding. They'd had $25 for my MIT degree. Elena. Jasmine's voice sounded far away. You need to take pictures. I couldn't move. Elena. Yeah, okay. I pulled out my phone. Started taking photos. Every page, every receipt, every vendor contract stapled to the back. There were payment confirmations, bank statements showing transfers, credit card receipts. $12,000 to the florist. Same week, I'd been denied $800 for summer housing. $7,500 to the videographer. 2 weeks after I'd been told they couldn't help with my $450 graduation gown rental. $8,500 to the bridal boutique. Same month I'd called home crying about textbook costs. Every single payment had a date. Every single date had a memory attached. I photographed all of it. 27 pages. When I was done, my hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. We should go, Jasmine said quietly. I closed the binder, put it back in the drawer, exactly where I'd found it. We walked downstairs. I locked the door behind us, got in the car. Jasmine drove. I stared out the window and tried to breathe through the rage building in my chest. We were 10 minutes away when I said, "Pull over." "What?" "Pull over, now." She pulled into a gas station parking lot. I opened the door and threw up. Everything from the past 12 hours came up. Coffee, bile, rage. Jasmine got out, held my hair back, rubbed my back. When I was done, I sat back in the seat. Wiped my mouth with a napkin from the glove box. "You okay?" she asked. "No." "Do you want to talk about it?" They spent $148,750 on her wedding. I know. And they gave me $25. I know. They lied to me, Jasmine. For years. They said they were broke. They said money was tight. They said they couldn't help. I know. But they weren't broke. They just didn't want to help me. She didn't say anything. Because what could she say? I looked at my phone, at the photos, at the proof. I'm going to make them regret this, I said quietly. Good, Jasmine said. You should. We got back to the dorm at 3 p.m. I went straight to my laptop, opened a new spreadsheet, titled it, The Truth. Jasmine sat next to me. What are you doing? Building a timeline. Of what? Every time I asked them for help, every time they said no, every time they lied. She nodded slowly. Okay, where do we start? Freshman year. I pulled up my old emails, my text messages, my bank statements, every record I had from the past 4 years, and I started writing. September 2021 freshman year. Asked for $400 for textbooks, biology, calculus, chemistry, computer science. Response: Can you rent them or buy used? We're stretched thin right now. Outcome: worked extra shifts at library, pirated 2 textbooks illegally, borrowed one from a classmate. December 2021 freshman year. Asked for $350 for flight home for Christmas. Response: That's too expensive. Can't you take the bus? Outcome: stayed on campus alone, dorms half closed, Heat barely on. Spent Christmas Eve eating vending machine pretzels. January 2022 freshman year. Asked for $200 for winter coat and boots. Boston winter. Temperatures below freezing. Response: just layer, you'll be fine. Outcome: got mild frostbite on toes, walking to 8 a.m. class. Campus Health Services treated it. Got coat from Goodwill for $15. I kept going. Sophomore year, junior year, senior year. Every ask, every denial, every lie. By 5 p.m., I had 11 entries. 11 times I'd needed help. 11 times they'd said no. Total amount I'd requested over 4 years, $14,300. Total amount I'd received, $0. Until graduation, when they'd given me $25. Then I cross-referenced the dates with Victoria's wedding planning timeline. That's when it got worse. March 2023, my junior year. I asked for $800 for summer housing, needed to stay on campus for research internship. They said, "We can't afford that right now." Same month, they paid $12,000 to wedding florist per bank statement in binder. October 2023, my junior year. I asked for $450 for graduation gown rental, required for ceremony. They said, "You'll have to figure that out yourself." 2 weeks later, they paid $7,500 to wedding videographer. December 2023, my senior year. I asked for $300 for spring semester textbooks. They said, "Elena, you have a full scholarship. Make it work." Same week, they paid $8,500 for Victoria's wedding dress. I stared at the screen. The pattern was undeniable. Every time I'd needed something, they'd claimed poverty. Every time, they'd been spending thousands on Victoria's wedding. They hadn't been broke. They'd been making a choice. And the choice had been her. Every single time. Jasmine read over my shoulder. "Elena," she said quietly, "this is abuse." "It's not abuse. It's just favoritism." "No, this is financial neglect. This is emotional abuse. This is," she gestured at the screen, "this is a pattern of choosing one child over another in a way that directly harmed you." I didn't respond. Because she was right. And admitting that out loud felt like breaking something I couldn't put back together. "What are you going to do with this?" she asked. "I don't know yet." "You need to show someone." "Who?" "I don't know. A therapist? A lawyer?" "A lawyer?" I laughed bitterly. "For what?" "It's not illegal to be a shitty parent." "No, but," she hesitated. "Didn't you say your parents claimed you as a dependent for taxes?" I frowned. "Yeah, why? Did they give you any financial support?" "No." "Then that's tax fraud." I looked at her. She looked back. "I'm not saying you should report them," she said quickly. "I'm just saying you have options." I turned back to the spreadsheet, added another column, what they spent on Victoria's wedding instead. Filled it in. When they denied me $800, they spent $12,000 on flowers. When they denied me $450, they spent $7,500 on videography. When they denied me $300, they spent $8,500 on a dress. The math was devastating. Total I asked for, $14,300. But I don't know if I want to go that far. Why not? Because they're my parents. So I can't just, I stopped, tried again. I can't just destroy them. Marco leaned back. They didn't have a problem watching you struggle. That's different. How? I didn't have an answer. He pulled out his phone. My aunt's a family lawyer. She does free consultations. You should talk to her. I don't need a lawyer. Maybe not. But you need someone who can tell you your options. Someone who's not emotionally involved. I hesitated. He typed something, showed me his phone. A text to someone named Tia Patricia. Marco. Hey, can you talk to a friend of mine? Family issue. She needs advice. 3 dots appeared immediately. Tia Patricia. Of course. Have her call me. Number below. Marco handed me his phone. There. Her number. Call her. I don't know. Elena. His voice was firm. You've been carrying this alone for 4 years. Let someone help. I took the phone. Saved the number. Thank you, I said quietly. Don't thank me yet. Thank me after you get justice. Justice. I'd been thinking about confrontation, about proving they were wrong, about making them see what they'd done. But Marco was right. I didn't just want acknowledgement. I wanted justice. That night, I called Patricia Delgado. She answered on the second ring. This is Patricia. Hi. My name's Elena Martinez. Your nephew Marco gave me your number. Elena. Yes. Marco mentioned you. What can I do for you? I gave her the abbreviated version. The wedding. The $25. The pattern of denials. The tax fraud suspicion. She was silent for a moment after I finished. Then, can you come to my office tomorrow? I don't have money for. This is a consultation. It's free. I just need to see your documentation. I have a lot of documentation. Good. Bring all of it. 10 a.m. work for you. Yes. See you then, Elena. She hung up. I sat on my bed, phone in my lap, heart pounding. This was real now. I was actually doing this. Jasmine came back an hour later. I told her about Marco, about Patricia, about the appointment tomorrow. She grinned. Finally. You're taking action. I'm terrified. Good. You should be. This is big. What if she says I don't have a case? Then you find another way. But Elena? She sat next to me. You have a case. You have proof. You have a pattern. You have numbers. What if they hate me after this? They already don't appreciate you. What's the difference? She was right. I'd spent 22 years trying to earn their love. It was time to stop. Patricia Delgado's office was in a strip mall between a nail salon and a tax preparation place. Not fancy, but clean, professional. I walked in at 9:55 a.m. carrying a folder with every piece of evidence I'd gathered. The receptionist smiled. Elena Martinez? Yes. Patricia's ready for you. Go ahead back, second door on the left. I walked down a short hallway. Knocked. Come in. Patricia Delgado was maybe 50. Gray-streaked black hair pulled into a bun. Sharp eyes behind red-framed glasses. She stood and shook my hand. Elena, good to meet you. Sit, sit. I sat. She settled back into her chair. Marco told me a bit, but I want to hear it from you. Start from the beginning. So I did. I walked her through everything. Childhood favoritism, high school disparity, college denials, the graduation card, the wedding budget, the timeline, the tax fraud. She took notes, asked clarifying questions, didn't react emotionally. When I finished, she set down her pen. Okay, she said. Let me see your documentation. I handed over the folder. She went through it methodically. The spreadsheet comparing my asks to their wedding spending, the emails where they denied me help, the bank statements showing I had no support, the budget from their binder showing the $148,750 total, the IRS criteria for dependents, my own tax returns. She took her time. I sat there, sweating, trying not to fidget. After 10 minutes, she looked up. This is airtight, she said. My breath caught. Really? Really. You have documentation. You have dates. You have proof of a pattern. And the tax fraud issue is legitimate. So I could report them? You could. But let's talk about your options first. She leaned forward. What do you want, Elena? What's your goal here? I hadn't expected that question. I, I don't know. Do you want money? Do you want an apology? Do you want them punished? Do you want to cut them off? What does justice look like to you? I thought about it. Money felt wrong. This wasn't about money. It was about principle. An apology would be nice. But I didn't think they'd give one, and even if they did, would it mean anything? Punishment felt harsh, but also deserved? Cutting them off felt extreme, but also necessary. I want them to know what they did, I said finally. I want everyone to know. I want it to be public. I want them to feel the consequences. Patricia nodded slowly. Public shaming. Is that wrong? Not if it's true, and in your case, everything you have is verifiable. She tapped the folder. The question is how public you want to go. What do you mean? You have several options. Option 1. Confront them privately. Show them this evidence. Demand an apology and financial restitution. They won't give it. Probably not. Option 2. Confront them publicly. Family gathering. Holiday. Event. You lay out everything in front of witnesses. My heart rate picked up. Would that work? Depends on your goal. If you want to humiliate them, yes. If you want to change their behavior, maybe not. What's option 3? Legal action. You could amend your tax returns, file as an independent retroactively, and report them for fraudulently claiming you as a dependent. The IRS would investigate. If they're found guilty, there are penalties, fines, possibly more. I stared at her. You're saying I could actually get them in legal trouble? Yes, but Elena, I need you to understand something. Her voice was serious now. If you go the legal route, there's no coming back from that. You'll be burning the bridge permanently. Your relationship with them will be over. It's already over. Is it? Because you're still hoping they'll see the light. You're still hoping they'll apologize and suddenly become the parents you deserved. If you report them to the IRS, that hope dies. I looked down at my hands. She was right. Some part of me was still hoping. Still waiting for them to realize. To apologize. To fix it. But they weren't going to. They'd had 22 years to see me. They'd chosen not to. What if I did both? I asked. Both? Public confrontation first, then legal action if they don't respond. Patricia smiled. That's the nuclear option, but it's effective. Would you help me? With the legal part, yes. The public confrontation is up to you. But I can help you prepare. Make sure your evidence is organized. Make sure you know what you're saying. How much would this cost? For now, nothing. If you move forward with amending your taxes and filing a report, there might be some fees, but they're minimal, a few $100s at most. I could afford that, barely. And the public confrontation? I asked. Is there anything illegal about that? As long as you're telling the truth? No. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Everything in this folder is documented. You're not making anything up. You're just stating facts. Facts. $148,750 for Victoria's wedding. $25 for my MIT graduation. 4 years of denials while they spent thousands on her. Tax fraud, by claiming me as a dependent without providing support. All facts. All true. All devastating. I want to do it, I said. Patricia nodded. Okay, let's build your case. We spent the next hour going over everything. She helped me tighten the timeline, organize the evidence into categories, identify the most damning comparisons. By the time I left, I had a plan. Step 1. Wait for the right moment. A family gathering, an event where witnesses would be present. Step 2. Present the evidence publicly, calmly, factually. Step 3. Walk away. Step 4. File the amended tax returns and IRS report. Step 5. Go no contact. It felt clinical, cold, but also empowering. For the first time in 4 years, I wasn't reacting. I was acting. One more thing, Patricia said as I was leaving. Are you prepared for the fallout? Family will take sides. Some will support you. Some will call you vindictive. Some will try to play peacemaker. It's going to be messy. I know. And your sister? How do you think she'll react? I hesitated. I don't know. She didn't know they were denying me while funding her wedding. She might feel guilty. She might, or she might defend them. Are you ready for that possibility? I wasn't, but I nodded anyway. Good luck, Elena, Patricia said. And for what it's worth, what they did to you was wrong. You deserve better. Hearing it from a lawyer, someone objective, someone who saw cases like this professionally made something loosen in my chest. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't being dramatic. I was right. And I had proof. Over the next 2 weeks, I became obsessed. Every free moment, I was organizing, refining, perfecting. Jasmine called it full detective mode. She wasn't wrong. I created a presentation, PowerPoint, professional, clean. Title slide, The Cost of Favoritism, a 4-year case study. Slide 2, a photo of me at MIT graduation, alone, holding the $25 card. Slide 3, a photo of Victoria's wedding, the Plaza Hotel, the flowers, the dress, the cake. Slide 4, the budget breakdown. $148,750. Itemized. Slide 5, the timeline. My 11 requests for help. Their 11 denials, side by side with the wedding payments. Slide 6, the math. $14,300 requested versus $148,750 spent on Victoria. Slide 7, the tax fraud. IRS criteria. My tax returns. Their claim. Slide 8, the conclusion. One sentence. You chose her every single time. I practiced presenting it, timed it. 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Jasmine watched the dry run. When I finished, she was crying. That's brutal, she said. Is it too much? No, it's perfect. It's factual. It's devastating. They won't be able to argue with it. Do you think I should do this? She looked at me. Do you? I thought about the empty seats at graduation, the $25 card, the 4 years of struggling alone. Yes. Then do it. The question was, where? I needed an event, a gathering, somewhere public with witnesses. I scrolled through the family group chat, looking for opportunities, and then I saw it. A text from Mom, sent 2 days ago. Mom, reminder. Victoria's birthday party is June 10th at our place, 6 p.m., BBQ and cake. Everyone's invited. June 10th, 3 weeks away. Victoria's 29th birthday. At my parents' house, with extended family, friends, witnesses. Perfect. I replied to the group chat. I'll be there. Mom responded immediately. Wonderful. So excited to see you, honey. I stared at the heart emoji. She had no idea what was coming. I told Jasmine. Then I told Marco. Then I told Patricia. Patricia's response. Perfect venue. Make sure you have backups of all your evidence. Print everything. Save digital copies to the cloud. Do not rely on Wi-Fi at their house. Smart. I printed the presentation. Bought a small projector on Amazon. Tested it in my dorm room. It worked. I practiced, over and over, until I could recite every slide from memory. Jasmine offered to come with me. Moral support. And backup camera. Backup camera? Someone needs to film this. If it's going to be public, it should be really public. I hesitated. You don't have to post it, she said. But you should have it, just in case. She was right. Okay, you can come. Marco asked if he could come too. I want to see you do this. Plus, I don't trust your parents not to try something. Try what? I don't know. Kick you out? Call the cops? Gaslight you in front of everyone? I want to be there in case it goes sideways. The fact that he thought my own parents might call the cops on me should have been absurd. It wasn't. Okay, I said. You can come too. He grinned. This is going to be legendary. 2 days before the party, Victoria called me. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Hey! She sounded happy, excited. Elena, I'm so glad you're coming to my party. Yeah, wouldn't miss it. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. How have you been? Busy. I bet. MIT grad life, right? Have you heard from any of those PhD programs? I got into Harvard, full funding. What? Elena, that's amazing. Why didn't you tell me? I did. I texted you. You did? When? 2 weeks ago. Pause. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I must have missed it. Work's been insane, and planning the honeymoon, and Elena, I'm really sorry. That's huge. It's fine. Noah. It's not fine. I'm a terrible sister. You're not. I am. But I'll make it up to you. We'll celebrate at the party, okay? I'll get you a cake. We'll make it a double celebration. The irony was almost funny. She wanted to celebrate me. At the party where I was going to destroy our parents. You don't have to do that, I said. I want to. You deserve it. Plus, Mom and Dad will be so excited. They've been bragging about you to everyone. I almost laughed. Have they? Yeah, they told. Like, everyone at the wedding that you were at MIT. They're so proud. Proud. They were proud enough to brag, but not proud enough to show up. Not proud enough to give me more than $25. Victoria, I said carefully, did Mom and Dad help you with money during college? What? Yeah, of course. They paid my tuition. Why? Did they pay for anything else? Like, living expenses? Books? Travel? I mean, yeah, they covered most of it. I had a part-time job for spending money, but they handled the big stuff. Why are you asking? Just curious. Elena, are you okay? You sound weird. I'm fine. You sure? Yeah, I'll see you at the party. Okay, love you, little sis. Love you too. I hung up, stared at the wall. She had no idea. She'd gone through college with everything paid for. Tuition, housing, books, living expenses. She'd worked a part-time job for spending money. I'd worked 3 jobs for survival. And she thought our experiences were remotely similar. Because our parents had never told her. They'd never told her they were saying no to me while saying yes to her. They'd let her think it was all equal. It wasn't her fault. But it still hurt. The night before the party, I couldn't sleep. I kept running through scenarios. Best case, I present the evidence. They're shocked. They apologize. Everyone supports me. Worst case, I present the evidence. They deny it. Everyone takes their side. I look like the villain. Most likely case, somewhere in between. Chaos, crying, yelling, family divided. At 3 a.m., Jasmine found me sitting on the floor of our dorm room, surrounded by printed slides. You're going to be fine, she said. What if I'm making a mistake? You're not. What if this ruins everything? It's already ruined. You're just making it visible. I looked at her. I'm scared. Good. You should be. This is scary. But you're doing it anyway. That's called courage. Courage. I didn't feel courageous. I felt small. And terrified. But I'd come too far to back out now. Tomorrow, I said. Tomorrow, Jasmine agreed. June 10th arrived. I woke up at 7 a.m., showered, got dressed, black jeans, white button-down, simple, professional. I packed the projector, the printed slides, my laptop as backup, external hard drive with digital copies. Jasmine drove. Marco met us at a coffee shop near my parents' house at 4 p.m. You ready? He asked. No. Good answer. Let's go. We got to the house at 5:30 p.m., early. I wanted to set up before guests arrived. Mom opened the door. Her face lit up. Elena, you're early. Come in, come in. She hugged me. I stood stiff in her arms. Who are your friends? She asked, smiling at Jasmine and Marco. This is Jasmine, my roommate, and Marco, from MIT. Lovely to meet you. Come in, Robert. Elena's here. Dad appeared from the backyard. Elena! Good to see you, kiddo. He hugged me too. Kiddo, like I was 10, like the past 4 years hadn't happened. Is it okay if I set up a presentation? I asked. For Victoria, a birthday tribute. Mom's eyes went wide. Oh, Elena, that's so sweet. Of course. I'll need access to the TV, and maybe the backyard projector if you still have it? Absolutely. Let me get Robert to help you. This was almost too easy. Dad helped me set up the projector outside, aimed it at the white wall of the garage. This is really nice of you, he said. Victoria's going to love it. I smiled, didn't respond. By 6 p.m., guests were arriving. Aunts, uncles, cousins, Victoria's friends, neighbors, my parents' colleagues. 80 people. Easy. Victoria arrived at 6:15 p.m. She hugged me tight. I'm so glad you're here. Me too. The party went on. Food, drinks, laughter, music, normal, perfect. Until it wasn't. At 7:30 p.m., Mom tapped a glass. Everyone, cake time. People gathered, circled around the patio table where a massive birthday cake sat. Victoria stood in front of it, grinning. Mom handed her a knife. Make a wish, sweetheart. Victoria closed her eyes, blew out the candles. Everyone cheered. That's when I stepped forward. Actually, I said loudly, before we cut the cake, I have something I'd like to share. Victoria looked at me. Your presentation? Yeah, it'll only take a few minutes. Aw, Elena, you didn't have to. I wanted to. I walked to the projector, pulled out my laptop, connected it. The first slide appeared on the garage wall. The cost of favoritism, a 4-year case study. The crowd murmured, confused. Mom frowned. Elena, what? Just give me 4 minutes, I said. My voice was steady, calm. Then I'll leave. I clicked to the next slide. And everything changed. The week before Victoria's party, I barely slept. Every night, I lay in bed running through the presentation, imagining their faces, rehearsing my lines. Jasmine thought I was losing it. You've practiced this 20 times, she said on Tuesday. You know it by heart. I need it to be perfect. It's already perfect. What if I freeze? What if I forget what to say? Then you read from your notes. Elena, you're prepared. You need to stop overthinking this. But I couldn't. This wasn't just about confronting them. This was about 4 years of silence. 4 years of swallowing my pain. 4 years of pretending I was fine. This was about finally being heard. On Wednesday, I met with Patricia one last time. She reviewed the presentation, made a few suggestions, tightened the language. Remember, she said, stay calm, stick to facts. Don't let them derail you with emotions or excuses. What if they deny it? You have receipts, literal receipts. They can't deny documented evidence. What if everyone takes their side? Some will, some won't. But that's not why you're doing this. You're doing it because the truth matters. Because you matter. She handed back my folder. One more thing. After this goes public, there's no taking it back. Make sure this is what you want. I thought about the empty seats at graduation, the $25 card, the 4 years of struggling alone. I'm sure, I said. Thursday, Marco helped me test the projector again. We set it up in an empty classroom. ran through the entire presentation, timed it. 3 minutes? 52 seconds. It's powerful, he said. Your parents are going to shit themselves. Good. Are you worried about Victoria? I paused. Yeah. She's going to find out they treated you differently. That's going to hurt her. I know, but she deserves to know the truth too. What if she gets mad at you? Then she gets mad. I can't control how she reacts. I can only control what I do. Marco nodded. You're braver than I'd be. I don't feel brave. I feel terrified. Same thing, usually. Friday night, Jasmine and I packed everything. Projector, laptop, extension cord, printed slides as backup, external hard drive, phone charger, water bottle. You're going into battle, Jasmine joked. Feels like it. She sat down next to me. Do you want to talk through it one more time? No, I think if I practice again, I'll lose my nerve. Okay, then let's talk about after. After? After you do this, after it's done, what's your plan? I hadn't thought that far ahead. I don't know, leave, I guess. Come back here, wait for the fallout. And then? File the amended tax returns, report them to the IRS, go no contact. She nodded. And what if they try to contact you? What if they show up here? I'll block them. I'll get a restraining order if I have to. What if Victoria tries to fix it, tries to mediate? I'll tell her the truth, that I love her, but I can't have a relationship with them, and if she can't accept that, then I can't have a relationship with her either. Saying it out loud hurt, but it was true. You've really thought this through, Jasmine said quietly. I've had 4 years to think about it. Saturday morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. Couldn't fall back asleep. I got up, made coffee, sat on the floor of our dorm room staring at the projector case. This was it. In 12 hours, everything would be different. My phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. Victoria, can't wait to see you tonight. Mom's making your favorite pasta salad. My stomach twisted. She had no idea. In a few hours, her birthday party would turn into a crime scene. And I'd be the one detonating the bomb. I typed a response, see you tonight. Deleted it. Typed again. Looking forward to it. Sent. Lied. At noon, Marco texted. Marco, you good? Me. No. Marco, want me to come early? Moral support? Me. Yes, please. He showed up at 2 p.m. with sandwiches and energy drinks. You need to eat, he said. You're going to need your strength. I picked at the sandwich, couldn't taste it. What if this is a mistake? I asked. It's not. What if I'm being vindictive? What if I'm just doing this for revenge? Are you? I thought about it. No. I'm doing it because they need to know. Because everyone needs to know. Because the truth matters. Then it's not a mistake. Jasmine came back at 3 p.m. We need to leave by 5. Traffic's going to be hell. Okay. Do you want to change? I looked down. I was still in pajamas. Yeah, probably should. I went to my closet, stared at my clothes. What do you wear to destroy your parents? I chose black jeans, white button-down, simple, clean, professional. This wasn't about fashion. This was about credibility. At 4:30 p.m., we loaded the car. Projector, laptop, backup supplies, evidence folder. Jasmine drove. Marco sat in back. I sat in the passenger seat watching the scenery blur past. You can still back out, Jasmine said quietly. No one would blame you. I'd blame me. Okay, just wanted to make sure. We stopped at a coffee shop a mile from my parents' house. I needed a minute. Needed to breathe. Marco bought me a chai latte. For courage. I sipped it. Tasted like cardboard. Ready? Jasmine asked. No. Yeah. We got back in the car. 5 minutes later, we pulled up to the house. Cars lined the street. The party had started. I could hear music, laughter, normal sounds from a normal birthday party. Not for long. Let's do this, I said. Mom opened the door with a huge smile. Elena, you're early. Come in, come in. She hugged me. I stood there, stiff, arms at my sides. She didn't notice. And you brought friends. How wonderful. She beamed at Jasmine and Marco. I'm Linda, Elena's mom. Jasmine shook her hand, smiled politely. Nice to meet you. Marco did the same. Thanks for having us. Of course. Any friend of Elena's is family. Come in, Robert, Elena's here. Dad appeared from the kitchen, apron on, spatula in hand. Elena, there she is. He pulled me into a hug. Good to see you, kiddo. Kiddo. I wanted to scream. Instead, I smiled. Good to see you too, Dad. Who are your friends? Jasmine, my roommate, and Marco. We go to school together. Mitt, kids. Smart crowd. He grinned. You guys want a tour? We just redid the deck. Actually, I said carefully, I brought a presentation for Victoria, a birthday tribute. Is it okay if I set it up? Mom's face lit up. A presentation? Elena, that's so thoughtful. I'll need the projector and access to the garage wall if that's okay. Absolutely, Robert. Help her set up. Dad nodded. You got it. Where's your stuff? In the car. We went outside. Marco helped me carry everything. Dad chatted the whole time. About the party. About Victoria. About how proud they were of both their daughters. I nodded, smiled, didn't respond. We set up the projector on the patio table. Aimed it at the white garage wall. Perfect. This is really nice of you, Dad said. Victoria's going to love it. I forced a smile. I hope so. Guests started arriving at 6 p.m. Aunt Rosa, Uncle Tommy, Grandma Carmen, cousins I hadn't seen in years. Everyone hugged me, asked about MIT, congratulated me on graduating. I smiled, made small talk, pretended everything was fine. Inside, I was screaming. At 6:15 p.m., Victoria arrived. She looked beautiful, sundress, hair down, glowing. She spotted me and shrieked, Elena! She ran over, hugged me tight. I'm so happy you're here, she said into my shoulder. Me too. She pulled back, looked at me. Are you okay? You seem tense. I'm fine, just tired. Well, thank you for coming. It means everything. She squeezed my hand. I love you, little sis. Love you too. It wasn't a lie. I did love her, but I couldn't protect her from this. The party went on. People ate, drank, laughed, took pictures. I stood in the corner with Jasmine and Marco, watching. You don't have to do this, Jasmine whispered. We can leave right now. No, I'm doing this. Okay, just checking. Marco touched my arm. How are you holding up? Ask me in an hour. At 7 p.m., I checked the projector, made sure everything was connected, loaded the presentation. Ready. At 7:15 p.m., Mom started setting up the cake, a massive 3-tier thing with Happy Birthday Victoria in pink frosting. My stomach turned. How much did that cake cost? More than $25. Probably. At 7:25 p.m., Uncle Tommy made a toast. Everyone raised their glasses, cheered for Victoria. She beamed. I felt sick. At 7:30 p.m., Mom tapped her glass. Everyone, cake time. People gathered around the patio table. Circled Victoria. She stood there grinning, surrounded by love, by family, by people who showed up for her. Mom handed her a knife. Make a wish, sweetheart. Victoria closed her eyes. The crowd went silent. She blew out the candles. Everyone erupted. Cheers, applause, camera flashes. That's when I stepped forward. My heart was slamming against my ribs. Actually, I said. My voice cut through the noise. People turned. Victoria looked at me, confused. Before we cut the cake, I continued, louder now, I have something I'd like to share. Victoria smiled. Your presentation? Yeah, it'll only take a few minutes. Aw, Elena, you didn't have to. I wanted to. I walked to the projector. Mom frowned. Elena. What? Just give me 4 minutes, I said. Calm. Steady. Then I'll leave. I connected my laptop. The first slide appeared on the garage wall. Big, bold, impossible to miss. The cost of favoritism. A 4-year case study. The crowd murmured. Confused. Concerned. Mom's face went pale. Elena, this isn't appropriate. It's very appropriate, I said. I clicked to the next slide. The second slide appears. A photo of me at MIT graduation. Alone. Cap and gown. Holding a white envelope. The $25 card. The crowd goes quiet. I don't look at them. I look at the screen. This is me, I say. May 20th, MIT graduation, one of the hardest schools in the country. 4 years of straight A's, full academic scholarship. I graduated with a 4 gigapascals. I click. Next slide. The $25 card, photographed, enlarged, Mom's handwriting visible. We're so proud of you, Elena. Love, Mom and Dad. And the money? $25. Gasps. Someone whispers, Is that real? This is my graduation gift, I say. $25. For 4 years at MIT. I let that sit. 3 seconds. 5. 10. Then I click. Next slide. Victoria's wedding, the Plaza Hotel, gold chandeliers, 200 guests, flowers everywhere. The crowd shifts. Uncomfortable now. Victoria's mouth opens. Elena, this is Victoria's wedding, I continue. My voice is steady, robotic almost. November 15th, Plaza Hotel, Manhattan, 200 guests, beautiful ceremony. I click. The budget spreadsheet appears. Every line item, every dollar amount. Total, $148,750. The number is huge, impossible to miss. Silence. Complete silence. $148,750, I say. That's what this wedding cost. I turn. Look at my parents. Mom's face is white. Dad's jaw is clenched. That's 5,950 times more than my graduation gift. Someone in the crowd gasps. I click. Next slide. The timeline. 2 columns. Elena's requests on the left. Victoria's wedding expenses on the right. Dates matched up, side by side. Let me walk you through this, I say. My hands aren't shaking anymore. My voice is clear. March 2023. I asked for $800 for summer housing. I needed to stay on campus for a research internship. I was told, we can't afford that right now. I point to the right column. Same month, $12,000 paid to the wedding florist. Murmurs, louder now. I click. October 2023. I asked for $450 to rent my graduation gown, required for the ceremony. I was told, you'll have to figure that out yourself. Point. 2 weeks later, $7,500 paid to the wedding videographer. Aunt Rosa whispers, Oh my God. I click. December 2023. I asked for $300 for textbooks. I was told, and I quote, Elena, you have a full scholarship. Make it work. Point. Same week, $8,500 paid for Victoria's wedding dress. Victoria makes a sound, like a whimper. I don't look at her. I can't. I click. Next slide. The full list. 11 requests. 11 denials. 11 wedding payments happening at the same time. Total requested, $14,300. Total received, $0. Total spent on wedding, $148,750. Over 4 years, I say. I asked for help 11 times. For textbooks, for housing, for winter clothes, for plane tickets home. Basic necessities. My voice cracks, just a little. I breathe, keep going. Every single time I was told we can't afford it. Every single time I was told money is tight. Every single time I was told to figure it out myself. I turn. Look directly at my parents. But you weren't broke. You just didn't want to spend money on me. Mom's crying now. Elena, that's not. I have receipts, I say. Loud, clear. I have bank statements. I have emails. I have text messages. I have tax returns. I have every piece of documentation showing exactly what you did. I click. Next slide. Email from Dad, dated October 2022. Projected 10 feet tall on the garage wall. Elena, stop asking for handouts. You got a scholarship. You're fine. You're an adult now. Act like it. The crowd reads it. I watch Dad's face drain of color. This was his response, I say. When I asked for help with textbooks my sophomore year, he called asking my parents for support a handout. Uncle Tommy swears under his breath. I click. Next slide. Text from Mom, dated December 2021. Can't afford plane tickets right now, honey. You understand. Underneath, a Facebook post. Same week. Mom and Victoria at Le Bernardin. Caption. Treating my girl to dinner. Love you, sweetie. This was the week I spent Christmas alone in my dorm, I say. Eating vending machine food. Because I couldn't afford a flight home. Mom's sobbing now. We didn't know. You knew, I say. I called you crying. I told you I was alone. You said you couldn't help. And then you spent $200 on dinner with Victoria. Grandma Carmen stands up. Linda, is this true? Mom doesn't answer. Can't answer. I click. Next slide. IRS criteria for claiming a dependent. Highlighted. To claim someone as a dependent, you must provide more than half of their financial support. This is from the IRS website, I say. To claim someone as a dependent on your taxes, you have to actually support them financially. I click. My tax returns appear. Filed as a dependent. All 4 years. These are my tax returns. I was claimed as a dependent every year. By them. I click. My bank statements appear. No deposits from my parents. 0. These are my bank statements, showing 0 financial support from them. Not a single dollar in 4 years. I turn. Look at Dad. That's tax fraud. You claimed me as a dependent to get a tax break while giving me nothing. That's illegal. Dad stands. Elena, you can't. I can, and I did. I've already filed an amended return. I've already contacted the IRS. They're investigating. The crowd erupts. People talking, shouting, crying. Aunt Rosa marches up to Mom. You spent $150,000 on a wedding while your daughter was starving? Uncle Tommy grabs Dad's arm. Rob, what the hell is wrong with you? Victoria's standing frozen, tears streaming down her face. I click to the final slide. 1 sentence. You chose her. Every single time. I let it sit there. Then I unplug the laptop. I'm done, I say. I pick up my projector, my laptop, my cables. Mom rushes toward me. Elena! Please, let us explain. There's nothing to explain. The numbers speak for themselves. We did our best. Your best was $25. We love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of me. The daughter who doesn't need anything, who figures it out herself, who makes you look good without costing you money. N. Dad steps forward. You're being dramatic. I'm being factual. Everything I showed was documented. You can't deny it. You've embarrassed us. Good. You should be embarrassed. What you did is shameful. Victoria finally speaks. Elena, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. I know you didn't, I say, softer now. This isn't about you. But my wedding. Your wedding was beautiful. You deserved it. But I deserved support too. and they chose to give it to you and not me. She's sobbing.
I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. They did. I look at my parents. One last time. I'm done, I say. I'm filing a police report. I'm reporting the tax fraud. I'm going no contact. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show up at my apartment. If you do, I'll get a restraining order. Mom's hysterical now. You can't do this. We're your parents. You stopped being my parents the day you decided I wasn't worth helping. I turn to leave. The crowd parts. 80 people, staring. Some shocked, some sympathetic, some angry at my parents. Uncle Tommy stops me. Elena, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. It's okay. It's not. But for what it's worth, I believe you. And I'm proud of you. I nod. Can't speak. Grandma Carmen hugs me. Mija, you did the right thing. I hug her back, tight. Then I walk away. Jasmine and Marco follow. Behind me, the party implodes. Yelling, crying, chaos. But I don't look back. I get in the car. Jasmine starts the engine. We drive away. I don't cry until we're 10 minutes down the road. Then it hits. Everything. 4 years of pain, 4 years of silence, 4 years of carrying it alone. Gone. Out in the open. Witnessed. Validated. I sob into my hands. Jasmine pulls over. Holds me. Marco sits in the back. Silent. Supportive. You did it, Jasmine whispers. You actually did it. I did. I destroyed them. And I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The first hour after leaving the party was silent. Jasmine drove. I sat in the passenger seat staring out the window. Marco was quiet in the back. Nobody spoke. There was nothing to say. At 8:47 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Texts, calls, voicemails. I turned it off. Do you want to go back to the dorm? Jasmine asked. No, I can't be alone right now. My place? Yeah. We went to Jasmine's apartment. Her roommates weren't home. She made tea. We sat on the couch. Marco ordered pizza. None of us ate it. At 10 p.m., I turned my phone back on. 83 notifications. I scrolled through them. Victoria, Elena, please call me. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Please. Grandma Carmen, Mija, I love you. You were so brave. Call me when you're ready. Aunt Rosa, I always knew something was wrong. I'm on your side. Always. Uncle Tommy, your parents owe you an apology. And a hell of a lot more. I'm here if you need anything. Cousin Daniela. Holy shit, Elena. I recorded the whole thing. Do you want me to send it to you? Mom, Elena, you've destroyed this family. How could you do this at your sister's party? You're being cruel and vindictive. Dad, you've embarrassed us in front of everyone we know. Don't bother coming home. You're not welcome here anymore. I read Mom's message twice. You've destroyed this family. No, they destroyed it. I just made it visible. I blocked their numbers. Both of them. Then I opened the message from cousin Daniela. Me. Yes. Send it. 3 minutes later, a video file appeared. 12 minutes long. The entire confrontation, filmed from the side, clear audio, every slide visible. My voice, steady, factual, devastating. Their faces, shock, denial, rage. The crowd's reactions, gasps, whispers, support. Do you want to watch it? Marco asked. Not yet. But I saved it. Just in case. By midnight, the video was everywhere. Cousin Daniela had posted it on TikTok. My cousin just exposed her parents for financial favoritism, and it's wild. 340,000 views by 1 a.m. Comments flooded in. This is heartbreaking. $25 for MIT? Are they serious? Those parents are narcissists. I hope she sues them. The receipts don't lie. Victoria called at 2 a.m. I answered. Elena. Her voice was wrecked, raw from crying. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. I should have noticed. I should have asked. I should have. Victoria, you didn't know because they didn't tell you. They let you think everything was equal. That's on them, not you, she sobbed. I feel so guilty. My wedding cost $150,000, and you were eating ramen. I survived. You shouldn't have had to just survive. You should have been supported, like I was. I didn't respond, because she was right. I'm giving you money, she said. From my wedding gifts, from my savings, whatever you need. I don't want your money. Elena, I don't want their money filtered through you. I want them to acknowledge what they did. I want them to apologize. I want them to take responsibility. They won't. They're blaming you. They're saying you're being dramatic and vindictive and… I know. I got their texts. I'm so angry at them, she whispered. I don't even recognize them right now. Welcome to my world. Silence. Then, are we okay, you and me? I thought about it. I don't know yet. I need time. I understand. I love you, Elena. I'm on your side. I promise. I love you too. We hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on Jasmine's couch, watching the sun come up, thinking about how everything had changed in 4 minutes. The week after, the party was chaos. The video went viral. 2.1 million views by Wednesday. National news outlets picked it up. BuzzFeed, Insider, Good Morning America reached out for an interview. I declined. I didn't want to be a story. I just wanted to be heard. But the damage was done. To them, Mom's book club friends saw the video. They stopped inviting her. Dad's colleagues at work saw it. His boss called him in for a conversation about his judgment. Their church community saw it. The pastor reached out to me directly. I'm praying for you, Elena. What happened to you was wrong. Neighbors saw it, started crossing the street to avoid talking to them. Their social circle imploded, and I felt nothing. No guilt, no satisfaction, just relief. On Monday, I met with Patricia again. You did it, she said, and now we follow through. She helped me file amended tax returns for all 4 years, reclaiming my status as an independent student. We filed a formal complaint with the IRS, tax fraud, falsely claiming a dependent without providing financial support. What happens now? I asked. The IRS will investigate. It takes time, usually 6 to 12 months. They'll request documentation from your parents, bank statements, tax returns, proof of support. And if they can't provide it, then they'll face penalties, fines for each year they falsely claimed you, possibly back taxes owed, interest. In severe cases, criminal charges, but that's rare. How much in fines? Depends on the amount they saved by claiming you. Could be anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 total. Plus, they'll have to pay back any refunds they received based on the false claims. I nodded. Good. She studied me. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Really? Really. I thought I'd feel guilty, but I don't. I feel lighter. She smiled. That's healing. The financial aid office at MIT called me on Tuesday. Miss Martinez, we've reviewed your amended tax status. You should have qualified as an independent student starting your sophomore year. That would have made you eligible for additional federal grants. My heart jumped. How much? Approximately $6,500 per year for 3 years. We can't issue it retroactively, but we can apply it to your outstanding student loans. So my loans would go down? By about $19,500, yes. I almost cried. Thank you. You're welcome. And Miss Martinez? I saw your video. I'm sorry that happened to you. You deserved better. Everyone kept saying that. You deserved better. I was starting to believe it. By the end of the week, the family had split into clear factions. Team Elena, Grandma Carmen, Aunt Rosa, Uncle Tommy, 4 cousins including Daniela and Marco's family. Victoria conflicted but supportive. Team parents, Aunt Diane, Mom's sister, called me ungrateful. Uncle Ron, Dad's brother, said I, aired dirty laundry. 2 older cousins who barely knew me. Neutral, silent. Several relatives who refused to pick a side. Family friends who quietly distanced themselves from everyone. Holidays were going to be interesting. Grandma Carmen called me Wednesday night. Mija, I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year. You're invited. Your parents are not. Grandma, you don't have to. Yes, I do. What they did was unforgivable. I didn't raise your mother to treat her child like that. Did you talk to her? I tried. She's in denial. Says you exaggerated. Says the video was edited. I laughed bitterly. It wasn't edited. It was live. I know. I was there. I saw everything. Her voice softened. I'm proud of you, Elena, for speaking up, for demanding better. Thank you, Grandma. I love you. Don't forget that. I love you too. Victoria and I met for coffee on Thursday. She looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. How are you? I asked. Terrible. You? Surprisingly okay. She stirred her latte, didn't drink it. I haven't talked to Mom and Dad since the party. Really? I can't. Every time I think about calling them, I remember your presentation, the numbers, the timeline, and I can't. You don't have to cut them off for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because I'm angry, because they lied to me too. They let me think we were both treated equally, but we weren't. No, we weren't. I keep thinking about all the times you asked me for help. And I said no because I didn't think it was serious. Because I thought you were fine. I never asked you for help. Exactly. You should have, but you didn't. Because you knew I couldn't see it. She started crying. I'm so sorry, Elena. I should have noticed. I reached across the table, took her hand. You're not responsible for their choices. But I benefited from them. That doesn't make it your fault. She squeezed my hand. Are we okay? We will be. It's going to take time. But we'll get there. She nodded. I'm not going to their house for Christmas. I'm going to Grandma's. With you. You sure? I'm sure. You're my sister. And they were wrong. For the first time in weeks, I smiled. Really smiled. Thank you. 3 months later, the IRS contacted my parents. I didn't hear about it directly, Aunt Rosa told me. Apparently, they'd received a letter. Formal investigation. Request for documentation. They'd hired a lawyer. Tried to fight it, but they couldn't. The evidence was undeniable. Bank statements showing zero support. My financial records showing I'd supported myself. The budget spreadsheet showing they'd spent $148,750 on Victoria while claiming poverty. In February, the IRS issued its decision. Tax fraud confirmed. 4 years of false dependent claims. Penalties, $18,400 in fines. Back taxes owed, $6,200. Total, $24,600. Plus, they were flagged for audits for the next 5 years. Dad had to take out a loan to pay it. They'd lost friends, lost community standing, lost family. And now they'd lost money. I didn't celebrate when I heard. But I didn't cry either. Justice didn't always feel good. Sometimes it just felt necessary. Mom tried to reach out once. 6 months after the party. A letter. Handwritten. Mailed to my new apartment. I almost threw it away. But I opened it. Elena, I know you won't read this, but I need to say it anyway. We never meant to hurt you. We thought you were fine. You were always so independent, so capable. We thought you didn't need us the way Victoria did. We were wrong. I'm sorry we didn't see you. I'm sorry we didn't help when you asked. I'm sorry we made you feel like you didn't matter. You mattered. You still matter. I don't expect you to forgive us. I just wanted you to know that we're sorry. Love, Mom. I read it 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer. It wasn't enough. Sorry didn't erase 4 years of struggle. Sorry didn't replace the empty seats at graduation. Sorry didn't refund the $148,750 they'd spent on Victoria instead of me. But it was something. Maybe one day it would matter. Not today. 2 years later. I'm sitting in my apartment in Cambridge. It's small, a studio, but it's mine. I pay the rent with my PhD stipend. $38,000 a year. Enough to live on. Enough to save. My student loans are almost gone. $8,000 left. I'll pay them off next year. I have $12,000 in savings. The first time in my life I've had an emergency fund. I'm in my second year of my robotics PhD at MIT. My research was published in MIT Technology Review last semester. I won a $15,000 grant for my prosthetics project. I'm teaching undergrad lab sessions. The students call me Professor Martinez, even though I'm not a professor yet. It makes me smile every time. I have friends, real friends. Jasmine lives 2 blocks away. Marco and I get dinner once a week. My PhD cohort feels like family. I have a life I built. A life I earned. A life nobody can take from me. Victoria and I are close now, closer than we ever were before. We talk 3 times a week. She visits once a month. We have sister dinners. We laugh about stupid things. We avoid talking about our parents. She got engaged again. To someone new. Someone kind. She asked me to be her maid of honor. This time, the wedding is small. 50 people. $8,000 total. She insisted on paying for my dress herself. I don't want you to worry about money, ever. I let her. Because it wasn't about the money anymore. It was about her seeing me, finally. Our parents weren't invited. Victoria's decision. Not mine. I can't have them there if you're standing next to me, she said. You're my sister. They made their choice. I haven't spoken to my parents in 2 years. They're still together, barely. Grandma says they sleep in separate rooms now. They're financially struggling. The IRS penalties, Dad's stalled career, the wedding debt they're still paying off. They lost most of their friends, most of their family. Victoria sees them twice a year. Obligatory visits. Surface-level conversations. She says they never talk about me. They never apologized beyond that one letter. They never acknowledged what they did, and I've accepted that they never will. Some people think I should forgive them. Relatives, acquaintances, strangers on the internet who saw the video and think they know the whole story. Family is family, they say. Everyone makes mistakes, they say. You only get one set of parents, they say. But forgiveness isn't mandatory. Healing doesn't require reconciliation. I can move on without them in my life. And I have. I'm in therapy now. Weekly sessions for the past 18 months. Dr. Singh is helping me process everything. The neglect, the favoritism, the aftermath. Do you regret it? She asked me last month. The public confrontation? I thought about it. No. Why not? Because the truth mattered. Because I mattered. And for the first time in my life, I made them see that. Do you think they see it now? I don't know, and I don't care anymore. She smiled. That's growth. I'm dating someone now. His name is Marcus. We met in my PhD program. He's kind, he's supportive, he listens. He knows the whole story. He watched the video before I told him. Everyone's seen the video at this point. His response, "Your parents are idiots. You're incredible." It was the right response. He's met my chosen family. Jasmine, Marco, Grandma Carmen, Aunt Rosa, Victoria. He hasn't met my parents. He never will. Do you think you'll ever talk to them again? he asked me last week. I don't know, maybe, if they genuinely apologize, if they take real accountability. Total they spent on the wedding, $148,750. For every dollar I'd asked for, they'd spent 10 on Victoria. No, not 10. Over 10. I did the division. They'd valued Victoria's wedding at 10.4 times more than my entire college survival. I saved the spreadsheet, printed it, stared at it. 6 pages of side-by-side comparisons. 6 pages of proof. 6 pages of exactly how little I'd mattered. Jasmine put her hand on my shoulder. Are you okay? No. Do you want to stop? No. What do you want to do? I looked at the printed pages, at the numbers, at the dates. I want them to see this, I said quietly. I want everyone to see this. Everyone? Everyone who was at that wedding. Everyone who watched them spend $148,750 on one day. Everyone who thought they were such generous, loving parents. How? I didn't know yet, but I was going to figure it out. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the binder in Dad's office, about how organized it was, how detailed, how Mom had labeled it in her neat handwriting. They'd been proud of that wedding. They documented every detail, saved every receipt, made a scrapbook of their generosity. And they'd left me a $25 card under my door like an afterthought. At 2 a.m., I got up, opened my laptop, pulled up my email, searched for every conversation I'd ever had with my parents about money. There were dozens. Most of them were me asking. Most of the responses were some variation of no. But there was one email that stood out. From Dad. Sent my sophomore year. I'd asked if there was any college fund left. Anything at all. Even $1,000 would help. His response? Elena, we used the college fund for Victoria. She's older, and it made sense to prioritize her education first. You have a scholarship. You're fine. Stop asking for handouts. You're an adult now. Act like it. I read it 3 times. Stop asking for handouts. Handouts. Like asking your parents for help was begging. Like needing support was a character flaw. Like I was supposed to be grateful they'd even bothered to raise me. I forwarded the email to myself. Saved it. Added it to the evidence folder. At 7 a.m., my phone rang. Mom. I stared at her name on the screen. Let it ring. She left a voicemail. I listened to it an hour later. Hi, honey. Just wanted to check in. We hope graduation was wonderful. Sorry we couldn't make it. Things have just been so hectic with Victoria's wedding aftermath and work and everything. But we're so proud of you. Call us when you can. Love you. I deleted the voicemail. Blocked her number. Blocked Dad's number. Blocked the landline. I was done. Jasmine found me at 9 a.m. in the common room, surrounded by printed documents. Have you slept? She asked. No. Elena. Look at this. I handed her a piece of paper. It was a timeline. Visual. Color-coded. Red for times I'd asked for help. Blue for times they'd spent money on Victoria's wedding. The overlap was almost perfect. Every time I needed something, I said, they were spending thousands on her. Jasmine sat down, studied the timeline. This is damning, she said quietly. I know. What else do you have? I showed her. Emails, texts, bank statements, my own, showing how broke I was. Screenshots of Victoria's wedding Instagram with dates. The budget spreadsheet. The denial patterns. Everything. I've been up all night, I said, putting it together, making sure it's airtight. Airtight for what? For when I confront them. She looked at me. When are you going to do that? I don't know, but I need to be ready. Elena, this is... She hesitated. This is a lot. Are you sure you want to do this? They gave me $25, Jasmine. I know. For MIT. I know. While spending $148,750 on her. I know. I stood up. Paste. I keep thinking about all the times I called them crying. All the times I was so tired I could barely stand. All the times I thought about dropping out because I couldn't do it anymore. She didn't say anything. And they just watched. They watched me struggle. They watched me break down. And they did nothing. Because they were spending it on Victoria. Exactly. I sat back down, put my head in my hands. I loved them, I said quietly. I spent my whole life trying to make them proud, and they didn't even care. Jasmine moved next to me, put her arm around my shoulders. They cared, she said. They just cared about her more. That was somehow worse. If they hadn't cared at all, I could write them off. I could call them monsters and move on. But they had cared. Just not enough. Not as much as they cared about Victoria. I was the backup child, the spare, the one who didn't need attention because I'd figure it out. And I had figured it out. But I shouldn't have had to. At noon, Victoria texted me. Victoria, hey, how was graduation? Send pics. I stared at the text. She didn't know. She had no idea what they'd done, what they'd spent, what they'd denied me while funding her dream wedding. She thought we were normal siblings with normal parents. I started typing a response, deleted it, started again, deleted it. Finally, it was fine. She replied immediately. Victoria, just fine. It's MIT. You should be celebrating. Me, I am. Victoria, did Mom and Dad make it? My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Me, no. 3 dots. She was typing. Victoria, what? Me, you'd have to ask them. Victoria, Elena, what's going on? Me, nothing. I'm fine. Victoria, you don't sound fine. Me, I'm fine. Congrats again on the wedding. It looked beautiful. I put my phone face down before she could respond. I wasn't ready to tell her yet, because telling her meant breaking something between us. It meant making her choose. And I wasn't sure I could handle her choosing them. That afternoon, Jasmine and I went to the campus library. Why are we here? She asked. I need to look something up. I found a computer in the corner, pulled up Google, typed, can parents claim dependent if they don't provide financial support? The answer was immediate. No. To claim someone as a dependent, you must provide more than half of their financial support for the year. My parents hadn't provided any support, but they'd claimed me every year. I pulled up the IRS website, found the criteria, printed it. Then I pulled up my own tax returns from the past 4 years. I'd filed as a dependent because they'd told me to. But I shouldn't have been. I should have been independent. And if I'd been independent, I would have qualified for additional financial aid, additional grants, additional support. They'd claimed me to get a tax break. And by doing so, they'd cost me thousands in aid I could have received. This is fraud, I said. Jasmine looked at the screen. Holy shit! They committed tax fraud to get money from claiming me, while refusing to actually support me. Elena, you need to report this. To who? The IRS, the school financial aid office, someone. I stared at the screen. I could report them. I could file an amendment to my tax returns. I could reclaim my status as an independent. I could potentially get backdated financial aid. I could make this a legal issue. But did I want to? Did I want to go to war with my own parents? I thought about the $25 card. I thought about the empty seats at graduation. I thought about 4 years of crying myself to sleep while they spent $148,750 on a party. Yeah, I said quietly. I think I do. I broke down on Wednesday. Not in my dorm room. Not in private where it would have been safe. In the middle of the campus Starbucks at 2 p.m. on a random afternoon while waiting for an iced coffee. 1 minute I was fine, standing in line, scrolling through my phone, normal. The next minute, a text from Mom appeared. Mom, Elena, you're being very distant. Did we do something wrong? Please call us. Something inside me snapped. My hands started shaking. My vision blurred. I couldn't breathe. The barista called my name. I couldn't move. Someone touched my shoulder. Hey, you okay? I turned. A guy from my circuits class. Tall, brown eyes, concerned face. His name was Marco. We'd worked on a project together sophomore year. I'm fine, I managed. You don't look fine. I said I'm fine. My voice cracked. Tears started. I couldn't stop them. Marco gently steered me outside, sat me down on a bench, handed me napkins from his pocket. Breathe, he said. Just breathe. I tried. Failed. Sobbed instead. He didn't leave. He just sat there, waiting. After 5 minutes, I finally got words out. I'm sorry. I don't know why I... You don't have to apologize. I'm a mess. You're a human. It happens. I wiped my face, looked at him. We barely know each other. So? You're clearly going through something. You want to talk about it? I shouldn't have. I should have said no thanks and left. But I was so tired of carrying it alone. So I told him. Everything. The graduation. The $25 card. The empty seats. The wedding that cost $148,750. The 4 years of denials. The timeline. The pattern. All of it. Marco listened, didn't interrupt, didn't judge. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then, holy shit. Yeah. That's not just favoritism, that's abuse. I flinched at the word. It's not... Elena. He turned to face me fully. They financially neglected you while funding your sister's luxury wedding. They lied to you repeatedly. They gaslit you into thinking you were asking for too much. That is abuse. I'd heard Jasmine say the same thing. But hearing it from someone else, someone who barely knew me, who had no reason to take my side, made it real. I don't know what to do, I said quietly. Have you talked to a lawyer? Why would I talk to a lawyer? It's not illegal to be a bad parent. No, but tax fraud is. I looked at him. How did you... You said they claimed you as a dependent while giving you zero support. That's illegal. You could report them. I know. I looked it up. If they prove they've changed. And if they don't, then I'll be fine. I've built a life without them. I'm happy without them. I don't need them anymore. He kissed my forehead. Good. You shouldn't need people who hurt you. Last month, I got an email from a producer at a documentary company. They wanted to tell my story. Financial favoritism in families. A full episode. I declined. I didn't need my pain turned into entertainment. I'd already said everything I needed to say. The video was enough. Yesterday, I walked across the same stage where I'd graduated 2 years ago. Not for my PhD, that's still 3 years away. For a departmental award, Outstanding Graduate Researcher, $5,000 prize, recognition in front of the entire engineering department. Jasmine was there. Marco, Victoria, Grandma Carmen, Aunt Rosa, my chosen family. Cheering. Crying. After the ceremony, Victoria hugged me tight. I'm so proud of you, she said. Thank you. Mom and Dad should be here. They had their chance. They chose not to take it. She nodded. Their loss. Yeah, it is. And I meant it. I think about the girl I was 2 years ago, sitting in her dorm room, holding a $25 card, feeling worthless. I want to tell her, you're not worthless. You're brilliant. You're resilient. You're enough. You always were. They just couldn't see it. But one day, you'll stop waiting for them to see you. And you'll start seeing yourself. And that's when everything changes. I'm not perfect now. I'm not healed. I'm not living some fairy tale ending where everything's fine. I still have bad days. Days where I'm angry. Days where I'm sad. Days where I wonder what it would have been like to have parents who showed up. But those days are fewer now. Most days, I'm okay. Most days, I'm happy. Most days, I look at my life, my apartment, my research, my friends, my sister, my savings account, and I think, I did this. I built this. Without them. In spite of them. And that's the greatest achievement of all. My parents gave my sister $150,000 for her wedding. They gave me $25 for graduating MIT. But they gave me something else too, even if they didn't mean to. They gave me proof that I didn't need them. They gave me the motivation to build a life on my own terms. They gave me the strength to demand better. And in the end, I got it. Not from them, but from myself. I graduated from MIT with a $25 card and zero family support. Now I'm getting my PhD. I have $12,000 in savings, and I'm surrounded by people who actually love me. My parents gave my sister $150,000. They gave me resilience. Guess which gift was actually worth something? If you've ever been the unfavored child, if you've ever been told you're too sensitive for noticing the difference in how you were treated, if you've ever worked twice as hard for half the recognition this story was for you, you're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're not asking for too much. You deserve better. And sometimes, demanding better means walking away from people who refuse to see your worth. Financial favoritism isn't just unfair. It's abuse, it's neglect, and it has real lasting consequences. If you're living this right now, know that you have options. Document everything. Find your people. And when you're ready, tell your truth. The truth will set you free. This is Achiever Betrayed, where we tell the stories of those who succeeded despite the people who should have supported them. Thank you for listening.